Tonight, as you close your eyes and let your thoughts drift away, imagine a world long before humans, when the earth was still young and full of quiet breath. The air was warm and heavy, the ground soft beneath endless forests. Gentle mists curled between tall ferns, wrapping the trees like a soft blanket of time. The sky glowed pale gold at dawn, and every sound seemed to move slowly, as if the world itself was half asleep. In this forgotten world, there were no cities, no voices, no footsteps of people, only the steady heartbeat of nature. Rivers wound through valleys like silver ribbons, their waters calm and deep. Raindrops slid from leaf to leaf, landing softly on the moss below. The air smelled of wet earth and growing things, a scent both ancient and kind. Far across the horizon, shapes moved through the haze. Enormous, gentle creatures walked with slow, steady steps. Dinosaurs, the silent rulers of this endless land. Their feet pressed softly into the damp ground, leaving wide prints that filled with rainwater. Their breath rose in faint clouds, fading into the mist. They did not hurry. They had no reason to. Time flowed differently here, slower, deeper, quieter. The forest swayed like they were breathing. Giant leaves caught the rain, and the sound of droplets filled the still air, like soft music without a melody. Somewhere, a small lizard scurried up a tree, its body glistening with dew. A butterfly, one of the earliest kinds, drifted between fern fronds, its wings pale and trembling. Every movement was part of the earth's rhythm, calm and eternal. When the sun rose higher, the mist thinned and light spilled gently through the canopy. It touched the backs of the dinosaurs, smooth, glistening scales that shimmered faintly in the warm glow. They lifted their long necks toward the treetops, chewing lazily on the soft green leaves. The sound of their breathing mixed with the hush of the wind, creating a low, slow song that filled the morning air. The rivers sparkled beneath the sunlight. Insects drifted over their surfaces, leaving tiny ripples behind. A family of ancient creatures, turtle-like, slow and peaceful, moved toward the water, their shells catching the reflections of the sky. Everything seemed to know its place. Everything moved with purpose, yet without rush. The mountains in the distance were young then, their peaks sharp and untouched by snow. Steam rose from cracks in the earth, where heat from deep inside the planet whispered to the surface. Even the volcanoes slept most of the time, breathing softly like great sleeping beasts beneath the land. And when night returned, it came quietly. The sun slipped away, and the sky filled with unfamiliar stars, older, brighter, closer to the ground. The air cooled, carrying the sound of slow footsteps through the dark. Somewhere, deep in the forest, a giant tail brushed against a tree, and leaves fell like whispers to the ground. In the stillness of that ancient night, everything was alive, yet everything rested. The earth was peaceful, breathing in long, calm sighs. Above, the stars blinked slowly, as if watching over their ancient home. Below, the dinosaurs slept where they stood, their heavy hearts beating softly in rhythm with the world itself. And if you listen, even now, through the quiet of your own night, you might still feel that rhythm, deep beneath your bed, beneath your town, beneath the layers of time. The earth still remembers. The breath of that forgotten world still hums faintly beneath us, like a memory that never fades. Now, let yourself drift deeper into rest and sleep. Tonight, as you close your eyes and let your thoughts drift away, imagine the soft hands of time brushing over the surface of the earth. The forests and creatures of the ancient world have long vanished, yet their whispers still remain, hidden quietly inside stone. Beneath the soil, under rivers and deserts, the ground holds delicate imprint of moments that once were alive. Footsteps press into soft mud, bones resting beneath fallen leaves, shells gently sealed by layers of sand, all slowly turning to stone as the centuries drifted past like slow-moving dreams. These are the Earth's memories, written not with words, but with patience. Each fossil, each layer of rock, is a page from a story billions of years long. The wind and rain may shape mountains and wash away valleys, but the smallest things, a footprint, a leaf, a tooth, can survive, waiting for eyes that will one day understand. Long after the last dinosaur walked across the wet ground, the mud that caught its steps hardened into rock. For millions of years, that rock slept beneath the world's surface, holding the soft outline of a foot as gently as a mother holds a child's hand. The world above changed. Forests rose and vanished. Oceans came and went. But beneath it all, that footprint remained. It waited in the dark, dreaming of the time when the air was warm and full of life. When people finally began to dig, they did not yet know what they were uncovering. They found strange shapes in stone, giant bones that did not match any living creature. Some thought they were the remains of dragons. Others believed they were from long-lost giants. No one imagined, at first, that the earth itself was holding the history of a world before ours. But slowly, with gentle care and quiet curiosity, people began to read the rocks. Paleontologists, those patient dreamers of the earth, brushed away dust with small tools, revealing the delicate shapes hidden beneath. They worked in silence, under the open sky, the wind whispering across their hands as they uncovered bones that had not seen daylight for millions of years. Each discovery was like finding a line in a storybook written by the planet itself. A rib curved in stone told of a great body that once breathed. A footprint showed how softly a giant creature once walked across a lake's edge. Even the smallest fossilized leaf spoke of air long gone, and sunlight that warmed a world we can only imagine. Sometimes, when they brushed the sand from a bone or traced the outline of a footprint with their fingers, it felt as if they were touching time itself, fragile, quiet, eternal. They learned to listen to what the earth was saying without words, to see the shape of a life in a simple curve of stone. In this way, the earth began to speak again, not loudly, not suddenly, but softly, like a voice remembered in a dream. The stones became storytellers, and humans learned to listen. And so the footprints in the dust became more than just marks on stone. They became bridges between the living and the lost, between now and forever. Every fossil tells a piece of the same quiet truth, that nothing truly disappears. Every creature, every sound, every step leaves something behind. As you breathe now, slowly and gently, imagine those footprints still resting deep in the ground, unchanged, unmoving, peaceful. The dust above them may rise and fall, but their story remains, waiting to be read again and again by the patient hands of time. Now, let yourself drift deeper into rest and sleep. Tonight, as you close your eyes and let your thoughts drift away, imagine a world covered in green and gold. The air is warm and gentle, moving slowly across the wide forests. Giant ferns rise higher than houses, their leaves glistening with drops of mist. The sky is pale and hazy, touched by sunlight that filters softly through drifting clouds. Everything breathes together, the trees, the wind, the earth itself, in one long, calm rhythm. This is the age of giants, when the world belonged to creatures far larger, slower, and more peaceful than anything we know now. The ground trembles lightly beneath their steps, but there is no fear in their movement, only the steady rhythm of life. Enormous sauropods walk through shallow lakes, their tails trailing ripples across the surface. Their long necks sway like tree branches, reaching gently toward the highest leaves. The air hums with quiet sounds, the call of insects, the creak of wood, the soft splash of a tail in the water. Far away, the sea whispers against the shore, its waves slow and full, glinting gold beneath the sun. The water carries a scent of salt and life, while above it, terraces glide in lazy arcs, their wings catching the soft glow of the sky. On land, the light shifts through the trees like liquid honey. Every plant glows with life, deep emerald ferns, thick moss, flowering vines that curl up the trunks of ancient trees. The ground is warm beneath the sun, but the shade is cool, filled with stillness. The giants move through it without hurry. They eat, they rest, they watch. The world moves slowly, like a song played on the wind. Even the predators are quiet in this age. They walk with patience, their bodies strong yet graceful. When they move, the forest parts around them, birds fluttering up for a moment before settling again. Life is balanced, each creature finding its place in the grand, gentle rhythm of the earth. In the distance, volcanoes rise like sleeping mountains, their slopes covered with dark forests. From time to time, a soft plume of smoke curls into the sky. Not angry, not loud, just a reminder of the deep fire still breathing beneath the surface. The heat warms the air, carrying the smell of stone and rain. As the evening falls, the golden light deepens. The rivers shine like ribbons of fire. The dinosaurs rest in open clearings, their bodies glowing softly in the fading sun. Tiny creatures move around their feet, insects, frogs, and early mammals, living quietly in the shadows of giants. Above them, the sky turns amber, then violet, then deep blue. And when night comes, the warmth of the day lingers on the ground. The air fills with soft sounds, the rustle of ferns, the gentle hum of the wind through trees, the slow exhale of a sleeping giant. Stars appear, bright and close, shining through the drifting smoke of distant volcanoes. The moon glows faintly over the quiet land, touching the backs of the great creatures as they dream. This was a time when the earth was full of life but free of noise, a place where everything grew and moved with calm purpose. The oceans breathed, the forests whispered, and the dinosaurs ruled not with fear, but with presence, ancient, steady, and kind. As you breathe now, feel that same warmth, that same peace, the quiet rhythm of a world that once lived without rush, without worry, only harmony. Now, let yourself drift deeper into rest and sleep. Tonight, as you close your eyes and let your thoughts drift away, imagine the slow turning of the earth, the quiet work of time that no one sees. The world above changes, forests grow, oceans move, mountains rise, but deep below the surface, everything is still. Beneath the layers of soil and stone, there is silence, cool, endless silence. Far below your feet, the bones of ancient giants lie sleeping. Once, they were warm and alive, walking through the golden forest of a forgotten world. Now, they rest in peace, wrapped in the arms of the earth. The ground holds them gently, the way the sea holds a drifting shell. Dust settles over dust, century after century, until even memory itself turns to stone. Each layer of rock is like a blanket, keeping the bones safe from wind and rain. The pressure of the earth presses close, but not unkindly. It cradles the shapes of long necks, wide ribs, and fragile claws, holding them in perfect stillness. Inside those ancient chambers of soil, there is no sound, no light, only the soft hum of the planet turning above. Sometimes, drops of water travel down through cracks, carrying tiny grains of minerals. They slip into the bones and slowly, very slowly, replace what was once living with a quiet strength of stone. What was once bone becomes crystal. What was once movement becomes stillness. Time transforms everything, but it does not erase. It remembers. For millions of years, the mountains above have grown and shifted, rising like slow wave frozen in stone. Storms have come and gone. Oceans have rolled across continents and then pulled away again. Yet beneath all that change, the bones have stayed where they fell, untouched. They are the quiet heart of the earth, patient, eternal. If you could stand beneath the mountains and listen, you would hear nothing. But in that silence, there would be a feeling, a soft awareness, as if the ground itself were dreaming. Dreaming of the creatures it once carried. Dreaming of green light and heavy rain, of thunder and wings and the slow steps of giants. Sometimes, small earthquakes stir the earth, shifting the stone just enough to whisper through the dark. The bones stay still, but the ground moves around them, like a hand turning the pages of a book no one remembers reading. It is a book of time, written in layers of dust, telling the same gentle story over and over, of life, of rest, of return. Above, life begins again, new trees, new skies, new hearts beating. The bones remain below, listening quietly, holding the memory of an age that will never come again. And perhaps, in some small way, they keep the earth calm, their weight grounding the world, their presence reminding time itself to breathe slowly. One day, far into the future, the rain and wind will uncover them again. Gentle hand will brush away the dust, and light will fall on them for the first time in millions of years. But for now, they sleep beneath the mountains, untouched and at peace. The world above may rush and change, but down below, the giants still rest, safe, silent, and forever part of the earth dream. Now, let yourself drift deeper into rest and sleep. Tonight, as you close your eyes and let your thoughts drift away, imagine the slow breathing of the earth itself. Beneath the quiet forests and calm oceans, the planet is alive, not in sound, but in motion. Deep under layers of stone, fire glows softly, like the heart of a sleeping creature. It beats slowly, patiently, warming the roots of the world. Every so often, that heartbeat rises. A mountain trembles, and the ground sighs. Far away, a volcano wakes, not with violence, but with purpose, a slow exhale of smoke into the sky. The earth breathes out, and the air fills with a scent of stone and warmth. Ash drifts gently down like snow, soft and gray, settling on leaves and rivers. The volcano's fire changes everything it touches, yet in time, it also gives life. The soil that was once hot and empty becomes rich and dark. Seeds fall into it, carried by the wind or washed by the rain, and new green shoots appear. From fire comes renewal, a cycle that never ends. The earth exhales destruction only to inhale creation again. Then the rain begins. First, soft and distant, like a whisper on the horizon. The sky darkens with gentle clouds, and the first drops fall, cool, clear, endless. They tap on leaves, flow down the sides of mountains, and slide through cracks in the earth. The world breathes in again. The ash is washed away. The rivers swell and shimmer, and life stays beneath the wet soil. The rain and fire are opposites, yet together they keep the planet alive. The volcano warms, the rain cools. One reshapes the ground, the other heals it. Together, they create a rhythm, the slow breathing of time itself. Imagine standing in that ancient landscape, long before cities or machines. You feel the ground hum beneath your feet. A faint vibration, deep and slow, as if the world was sighing in its sleep. In the distance, a red glow spills from the mouth of a mountain. You hear no roar, no blast, only a low, steady pulse. Around you, rain begins to fall, gentle and endless, catching the firelight in tiny sparks as it descends. Steam rises where the two meet, water and fire, forming clouds that drift lazily across the sky. The air smells of life and renewal, of warmth and water. You breathe it in, and it feels like breathing with the earth itself. Each inhale matches the coolness of rain. Each exhale follows the warmth of the fire. The dinosaurs once lived by this rhythm. They walked over cooled lava fields now covered in ferns, and drank from streams that ran down the sides of sleeping volcanoes. They felt the rain slide down their backs and watched smoke twist across the horizon. They lived not apart from the earth's breath, but within it, as part of its slow and endless cycle. Even now, if you listen closely to the quiet of the night, you might sense it, that faint pulse under everything. The planet still breathes, shaping and reshaping itself with every silent sigh. The same rain that falls tonight once fell on leaves millions of years ago. The same fire that warms a core once touched the sky above the dinosaurs' world. The earth never stops breathing. It inhales life, exhales change, and then rests again, calm and steady. And as you drift deeper into stillness, you too become part of that rhythm, the gentle rise and fall, the eternal breath of the world. Now, let yourself drift deeper into rest and sleep. Tonight, as you close your eyes and let your thoughts drift away, imagine a soft, golden light spreading across an endless forest. The air is warm and quiet. The trees sway slowly, their leaves glowing like emerald glass beneath the sun. A gentle breeze moves through the ferns, carrying the scent of rain, earth, and life. Somewhere in the distance, a low, deep sound rolls through the air, not frightening, but calm, like a note of music carried on the wind. Through the haze of morning, great shapes begin to appear between the trees. Enormous, slow, and graceful, the gentle giants move with the patience of time itself. Brachiosaurus, tall as the trees they feed from, stretch their long necks toward the highest branches. Their skin glows softly in the sunlight, smooth and dappled like old stone warmed by day. Each step they take leaves a shallow print in the soft ground, quickly filled with fallen leaves. They move in silence, except for the quiet rustle of branches and the slow sound of their breath. When one exhales, it sounds like the sigh of the forest itself, deep, warm, and kind. Around them, tiny birds flit from branch to branch, their small wings catching the light. Insects buzz lazily in the air, dancing in golden beams that fall between the leaves. The whole forest feels alive, yet at peace, like a dream that never ends. The Brachiosaurus tilt their heads gently as they eat, tearing leaves from the tallest trees with soft, sweeping motions. The branches bend, but they never break. The creatures feed with care, taking only what they need. They move together, quietly, each step slow and sure, like dancers in a rhythm that has no beginning and no end. Below them, other creatures wander through the ferns. Smaller dinosaurs graze on low plants, their heads bobbing gently as they walk. Near a stream, A herd of long-necked diplodocus drink the cool water, their reflections shimmering on the surface like moving shadows. Dragonflies hover above the ripples, their wings glowing blue and silver in the sun. When the afternoon deepens, the air fills with a soft, golden haze. Dust and pollen float through the light, creating a faint shimmer that makes the forest glow. The giants keep moving, step by step, their tails brushing softly against the undergrowth. The sound of their feet is like distant thunder, yet it feels calm, a steady heartbeat that comforts the earth beneath them. From time to time, one pauses and lifts its head toward the horizon. It looks not with fear, but with quiet awareness, as if it senses the wind changing or the coming of rain. Then it lowers its neck again and returns to feeding, its movement smooth and unhurried. As the sun begins to sink, the light turns amber and soft. Long shadows stretch across the land. The giants gather in small groups, standing close as if sharing warmth. The air cools, carrying the faint sound of insects and the hush of distant waves. The forest darkens slowly, each leaf and branch folding into the night. The brachiosaurs settle at last beneath the stars, their great bodies resting among the trees. They breathe deeply and slowly, like the earth itself falling asleep. Their world is still, their heart steady. In the quiet dark, the forest hums a soft lullaby, and the giants drift into dreams, endless fields, golden skies, and the rhythm of peace that never fades. Now, let yourself drift deeper into rest and sleep tonight. As you close your eyes and let your thoughts drift away, imagine the soft light of dawn spreading slowly over a calm and endless sea. The water is smooth as glass, its surface touched by faint ripples that glow pink and gold beneath the rising sun. The air is quiet, cool, and sweet with a scent of salt and mist. Far above, the sky opens wide, stretching into pale blue distance. And there, in that vast stillness, shapes begin to move, slow, graceful, and free. They are the sky wanderers, the great flying reptiles of long ago. With wings stretched wide like sails of silk, they glide effortlessly above the ocean, catching the breath of the morning wind. Their bodies tilt and turn with each gentle current, rising higher, then drifting down again, tracing invisible paths through the sky. The sun catches their wings, and they shimmer faintly, soft silver, muted bronze, pale amber. Each featherless wing curls like a living kite, its edges glowing against the light. Below them, the sea reflects their shadows, creating ghostly mirrors that move across the waves. The air around them is calm. There is no rush, no noise, only the whisper of wind sliding past their wings. Sometimes, one dips low to skim the surface of the water, its wingtips brushing the sea in a perfect line. Tiny splashes sparkle in the sunlight before fading back into stillness. Then, with a single sweep of its wings, it rises again, disappearing into the glow of the clouds. From high above, the world looks endless, a soft blend of blue and gold, where sky and water melt together. Far below, long-necked dinosaurs walk slowly along the shore, their shapes small and peaceful from this height. The flying reptiles circle above them, their sharp eyes scanning the sea for fish that glint just beneath the surface. When they find one, they fold their wings and dive, a silent fall that ends with a gentle splash, a ripple, and the quiet sound of wings beating once more. As the sun climbs higher, light fills the world. The clouds turn white and soft, floating low over the ocean like drifting dreams. The sky wanderers glide through them, leaving faint trails of mist behind. They ride the air as if the wind itself were guiding them. No struggle, no sound, just balance and grace. Sometimes they gather in small groups, circling together like dancers in slow motion. Their wings overlap, their movements perfectly timed, as if the air were a song they all understood. They fly not to escape, but to exist, to feel the warmth of the sun on their backs and the cool sea air beneath their wings. When the day grows brighter, they settle for a while on cliffs near the shore. They fold their wings carefully, resting them against their sides like velvet cloaks. The waves crash softly below, and the wind hums through the rocks, carrying the deep, peaceful rhythm of the sea. And then, as the light begins to fade, they take to the air again, one by one, until the sky is filled with slow, graceful silhouettes gliding across the orange horizon. Their shadows stretch long over the water, following them like memories that never fade. The sea darkens, the stars begin to appear, and the sky becomes a quiet mirror once more. The wanderers keep gliding beneath the first silver moonlight, their wings glowing faintly against the deep blue night. The air, the sea, the sky, all move together, all breathe together. The earth below sleeps, but the sky remains awake, filled with wings and whispers. Now, let yourself drift deeper into rest and sleep. Tonight, as you close your eyes and let your thoughts drift away, imagine sinking gently beneath a calm, endless sea. The water around you glows with soft blue light, cool and still, like a dream with no edges. Shafts of sunlight fall through the surface, bending and rippling as they touch the sand below. Tiny bubbles rise, slow and silent, carrying whispers of the world above. Everything moves softly here, as if time itself drifts slower underwater. This is the ocean of the past, vast, deep, and full of life. Its waves once touched shores no human eyes have ever seen. Beneath its calm surface, great creatures move with quiet grace. Long-necked plesiosaurs glide through the glowing water, their flippers pushing them forward in slow, rhythmic strokes. They move like dancers, turning and gliding as though carried by invisible hands. Their skin catches the light in shades of silver and pale green. When they rise near the surface, their long necks stretch upward, breaking through the waves for just a moment to breathe the warm air. Then, as gently as before, they sink back down, vanishing into the blue. Around them, schools of ancient fish shimmer like drifting stars, their scale flashing in the light before fading into shadow. Every sound here is soft, the heartbeat of the sea itself. The waves roll above like distant thunder, but beneath, all is peace. The water hums with quiet life. Small creatures drift like petals in slow motion. Strange plants sway from the ocean floor, their long arms waving gently as the current passes. Even the light moves slowly, curling through the water like smoke. Far below, the sand lies untouched, rippled by the steady rhythm of the tides. Shells rest where they fell centuries ago, their colors muted by time. Occasionally, a plesiosaur glides close to the bottom, its shadow spreading across the sand like a passing cloud. It turns its head slightly, eyes calm, curious, aware of nothing but the endless blue. In this ocean, there is no hurry, no noise, only the steady flow of movement and rest. The creatures here have no need to chase or flee. They drift, they breathe, they exist. The sea holds them gently, like a cradle. Every rise of the current, every shimmer of light, every small flick of a tail feels part of the same quiet rhythm. As the sun begins to fade above, the light softens into shades of violet and gold. The surface glows faintly, like a ceiling made of glass. The plesiosaurs move higher, closer to the twilight, their bodies outlined against the glowing water. The air bubbles that rise from their mouths sparkle as they drift upward, catching the last traces of sunlight before bursting into silence. Night falls even here, far below. The deep ocean grows darker, yet never fully black. Tiny glowing creatures awaken, small dots of light drifting like stars in the sea. They glow blue, green, and white, creating a gentle, living galaxy beneath the waves. The plesiosaurs glide through them, leaving trails of soft light in their wake. The ocean breathes slowly, in and out, like the planet itself in sleep. Waves rise, waves fall, and the deep water hums a quiet lullaby for every living thing it holds. And somewhere, far beneath the weight of time, the echoes of that sea still remain, trapped in stone, in fossils, in memory. The world has changed, but the rhythm of the ocean endures. Now, let yourself drift deeper into rest and sleep. Tonight, as you close your eyes and let your thoughts drift away, imagine night falling on the world of the dinosaurs. The sun sinks behind distant mountains, leaving a soft orange glow that fades slowly into blue. The air cools, carrying the smell of wet earth and the faint sweetness of flowers hidden in the shadows. The forest grows quiet for a moment, as if holding its breath. Then, gently, the sounds of night begin. The first notes come from tiny insects, a soft, steady chorus of chirps and hums that rise and fall like waves. Their rhythm fills the air, blending with a faint rustle of leaves that sway beneath the touch of a cool breeze. The sound is delicate but endless, wrapping the whole forest in a kind of music, the lullaby of an ancient world. Moonlight spills across the treetops, silver and soft, sliding down the leaves until it reaches the ground. Every drop of rain left from the afternoon shines like a tiny mirror. The ferns glisten, their edges outlined in pale light. Pools of water between roots reflect the moon, broken only by ripples when something small moves through. Somewhere far off, a deep call echoes, slow, low, and full of distance. A dinosaur calling out into the darkness, not with fear, but as if speaking to the night itself. Another call answers, softer, fading into the trees. The forest listens, and then returns to silence. Only the insects continue, steady and calm. A family of gentle herbivores moves quietly through the undergrowth. Their large bodies seem to float rather than walk. Each footstep lands on soft, damp earth, leaving round impressions that fill quickly with glowing moonlight. Their long tails sweep gently behind them, brushing aside the ferns. They move slowly, stopping now and then to pull a mouthful of leaves from a low branch. The sound of their chewing mixes with the whisper of the wind, calm, steady, peaceful. Above them, small flying creatures flutter between the trees, their wings almost invisible against the night sky. They chase glowing insects that drift like sparks from a hidden fire. Sometimes one passes close to the moonlight, its body glinting gold for a second before vanishing back into the dark. The air feels thick with quiet life. The night breathes, slow and deep. Every sound, the chirping, the leaves, the distant water, seems to move together, like the forest itself is a heartbeat. Even the volcanoes on the horizon sleep now, their fiery breath dimmed to a faint red glow. The dinosaurs rest in small clearings, lying close to one another for warmth. Steam rises gently from their bodies, glowing faintly in the moonlight. Their eyes close slowly, one by one. Around them, the forest keeps singing, a soft, endless hum that soothes everything it touches. The world feels heavy with calm, but light with peace. In the distance, waves murmur against the ancient shore. The sound is low and slow, folding into the rhythm of the night. The stars above shimmer like frost scattered across black water. Somewhere high in the branches, a light rain begins to fall, just enough to cool the air, to keep the world breathing in time with itself. If you listen carefully, you can still hear it, that slow, living music from a world long gone. The sound of night in the age of giants. The earth itself singing softly in its sleep. Now, let yourself drift deeper into rest and sleep tonight. As you close your eyes and let your thoughts drift away, imagine walking through a forest so old that time itself seems to pause within it. The air is cool and still, filled with a scent of moss and rain. Above you, giant trees rise higher than you can see, their trunks thick and silent, their roots buried deep in the memory of the earth. These are not ordinary trees. They are the forests of time, the ancient guardians of worlds long vanished. Each trunk is wide as a house, wrapped in layers of bark that have felt the touch of rain for millions of years. Their branches stretch out like arms, reaching toward one another across the misty air. Ferns and vines drape from them, their green leaves glowing softly in the filtered light. You can almost feel them breathing, slow, deep breath that match the rhythm of the earth. In and out, gentle, eternal. The ground beneath your feet is soft, made of fallen leaves that have gathered for centuries. With every step, you walk over the past, over the remains of trees that lived, fell, and returned to the soil. The forest never forgets. It keeps everything. The whispers of wind from ancient ages, the shadows of creatures that once walked here, the echo of rain that fell long before the first human dream. Somewhere in the distance, the sound of dripping water fills the air. It is a patient sound, steady and calm. The drops fall from leaf to leaf before landing softly on the ground. It is the same sound that has played here for ages, the same rhythm that once soothed the dinosaurs as they rested beneath these trees. The light that filters through the canopy is golden and green. It shifts slowly, turning each leaf into a window of color. The air glows with tiny dust motes that drift like small stars. And though nothing moves quickly here, everything is alive. The roots twisting through the soil, the branches swaying gently above, the hidden heartbeat of the forest pulsing in silence. The trees have watched everything. They saw the giants walk the land, the sky darken with ash, the oceans rise and fall. They felt the fire of volcanoes and the cool return of rain. They listened to the cries of creatures now turned to stone, and still they stood, patient, unmoving, calm. Their roots hold the secrets of those lost worlds, and their leaves whisper them softly into the wind. Sometimes, when the wind passes through the forest, the trees seem to speak. Their voices are low and kind, like the murmur of distant waves. If you listen closely, you might hear them telling stories, not in words, but in rhythm, in breath, in the soft movement of air through branches. They speak of light and shadow, of creation and rest, of life that blooms and fades and blooms again. As the sun sets, the forest changes color. The green fades into amber, then to silver. The air cools, the sounds soften, and the first stars appear above the treetops. The oldest trees glow faintly in the moonlight, their bark shining with dew. They do not sleep. They simply continue, breathing, remembering, waiting. In their stillness, there's peace. They remind the world that time is not something to be chased. It is something to move through, gently, like wind through leaves. Now, let yourself drift deeper into rest and sleep. Tonight, as you close your eyes and let your thoughts drift away, imagine the earth long ago, turning slowly beneath a pale golden sun. The world is quiet, but deep inside, something begins to stir, a slow movement, an ancient heartbeat. The planet has always breathed, shifting and sighing beneath its skin. But now, that breath grows stronger. The ground hums softly. Far beneath the roots of mountains, fire begins to wake. It does not come with sudden violence. It rises gently, like a deep, slow exhale. The earth grows warm, the air heavy. Volcanoes that have slept for thousands of years begin to glow at their edges. Thin streams of smoke curl upward, winding toward the clouds like silver ribbons. The sky remains calm, yet the horizon shimmers faintly, touched by hidden light. Then, one night, the mountains open their mouths and the earth begins to speak in fire. Lava flows down their sides, not with anger, but with purpose. The ground moves, reshaping itself, painting the land in red and gold. It is as if the planet is dreaming aloud, changing its form as it turns in its sleep. The forests nearby glow beneath the reflection of the fire, their leaves shining copper in the strange light. Ash begins to drift across the sky, soft as snow. It floats for miles, settling gently on rivers and valleys. It does not destroy, it covers, it quiets, it prepares. Beneath the ash, seeds will one day grow again, richer than before. The earth, in its slow wisdom, knows that every ending is a kind of beginning. The animals feel the change. Some move away, walking slowly toward safer ground. Others stay, watching the bright glow from afar, their shapes outlined against the warm, flickering sky. The dinosaurs pause in their grazing, their calm eyes reflecting the fire in the distance. There is no panic, only silence and wonder, as if they too understand that the world is shifting towards something new. The lava cools as it flows, hardening into black stone. Steam rises where it meets water, creating clouds that glow in the light of dawn. The rain soon follows, soft, endless, patient. It falls on the cooling earth, hissing gently as it touches a new rock. The sound is soothing, like a sigh after a long breath. The fire fades, and the rain continues. Together, they reshape the land, one with heat, one with calm. Over time, the mountains settle. The sky clears, and sunlight returns, pale and clean. The ash that covered the valleys becomes part of the soil, feeding new life. Ferns push through the gray dust. Small flowers open, delicate and bright. Streams carve fresh paths through the stone, their water clear and cold. The world, reborn, breathes again. The fire that once roared now sleeps beneath the ground once more. It still glows in the deep places of the earth, but quietly, a reminder that change is part of the planet's nature. The same fire that shapes mountains and oceans also creates the ground beneath your feet. It is not an enemy, it is the earth's heartbeat, steady and sure. And though much has changed, the world continues in balance. The dinosaurs still wander through the new valleys, their long shadows stretching across land that once burned. They drink from rivers that flow where lava once ran. They graze on plants that grew from the soil enriched by ash. Life always returns, softer, stronger, ready to begin again. If you could stand there, in that gentle dawn after the storm, you would feel it, the peace that comes after great change. The air would be cool and full of the scent of stone and rain. The sky would blush faintly with color. The mountains, once alive with flame, would rest in silence, dark and still. And somewhere deep below, the fire would wait, patient, calm, eternal. The earth does not rush. It moves in its own time, reshaping itself slowly, endlessly, beautifully. It teaches that all things, even change, can be gentle if we learn to listen. Now, let yourself drift deeper into rest and sleep tonight. As you close your eyes and let your thoughts drift away, imagine a soft gray sky stretching far across an empty plain. The air is cool and heavy, the kind that comes before rain. The wind moves gently, brushing over the quiet land. Then, at first almost too softly to notice, the rain begins, one drop, then another, then thousands. They fall in rhythm, like the slow heartbeat of the world. Each drop lands on the earth with a tiny sound, a whisper barely heard. Yet each one carries a purpose. For millions of years, this same rain has fallen, on forests that no longer stand, on rivers that change their course, on bones buried deep beneath the soil. The water touches everything, patient and kind, washing away dust grain by grain until something long hidden begins to show. A patch of ground darkens as the rain seeps through. Mud loosens, small stones shift. A curve appears, faint, fragile, almost like a memory taking form. It is not a stone like the others. It is smoother, shaped by life, not by chance. The rain falls harder, and slowly, the outline of an ancient bone begins to emerge. The earth has held it for so long, keeping it safe beneath layers of time. But now, the sky has come to wake it again. Each raindrop tells part of its story. A forest where giants walked, of sunlight through ferns, of rivers long gone to dust. The water trickles through cracks, polishing the surface, revealing the delicate texture of something that once lived and breathed. It is the earth's quiet way of remembering, of bringing its memories back to light. Paleontologists will one day find it, but for now, only the rain knows. It drips gently along the curve of a fossilized rib, pools for a moment in a hollow, then continues its path down into the soil. It doesn't rush. It has all the time in the world. The wind hums above, bending the grass in long, slow waves, as if bowing in respect to the story being uncovered below. Somewhere far away, thunder rolls, not loud or frightening, but deep and soft, like the voice of the earth itself. The smell of wet dust fills the air. Streams form between small hills, carrying bits of ancient rock toward rivers that will one day reveal even more secrets. The rain is patient. It has waited since the age of dinosaurs to tell their tale, and it will keep whispering for ages more. As the storm passes, the land shines under dim light. The rain softens to a drizzle, and mist rises from the ground. In that soft haze, the fossil gleams faintly. The bone, turned to stone long ago, catches a drop of water that slides down its surface and falls away, like the earth exhaling a secret it can no longer keep. When the sun returns, it does so gently, peeking through breaks in the clouds. Warm light falls across the damp soil, drying it slowly, leaving behind a thin film of sparkle where the rain once touched. The fossil remains, half buried, half revealed, a bridge between two worlds. The past sleeps beneath the surface, but the present listens. Every storm, every drop of rain, brings something closer to the light. The land changes not through sudden moments, but through quiet persistence, the patient work of wind and water, the endless rhythm of uncovering and remembering. In time, the fossil will be found. Hands will brush away the date, eyes will see what the rain began to show. And once again, the story of life will be told, not in words, but in shape, in texture, in the gentle echo of what remains. Even now, when you hear rain against your window, know that it carries that same rhythm, the song of time, soft and eternal. Somewhere, far away, drops are falling on ancient bones, uncovering a piece of a forgotten world. And just like the rain, you can let your thoughts fall gently now, washing away the noise of the day, uncovering calm beneath it all. Let the rhythm soothe you, steady and soft, like the earth breathing after a long storm. Now, let yourself drift deeper into rest and sleep. Tonight, as you close your eyes and let your thoughts drift away, imagine a soft morning, long ago, when the air was still cool and the light had just begun to stretch across the land. The forests are quiet, but something new stays among the leaves, a whisper of movement, a gentle shimmer of color. In the place where scales once gleamed, delicate feathers begin to grow, fine and light as breath. They catch the glow of dawn, glowing faintly gold, rust, and gray. The world does not notice at first. The great creatures still roam the valleys and swamps, their footsteps shaking the ground. But high in the trees, a smaller dream begins. Tiny dinosaurs with bright eyes and quick hearts stretch their feathered arms toward the light. Their feathers do not yet lift them, but they warm their bodies, protect their young, and flutter softly when they move. The air, curious and kind, swirls around them, waiting for what will come next. Over time, the feathers grow longer, stronger. Each generation carries a little more of the sky in its blood. Some glide from branch to branch, their bodies catching the air for a heartbeat before landing again. Others run across open ground, their feathers lifting slightly as they leap. It is not flight yet, not fully, but it is the beginning of a dream. The earth is still, the wind quiet, but in these small moments, something ancient begins to rise. The feathers themselves are wonders, delicate but strong, layered perfectly to hold light and air. When the wind passes through them, it sings softly, a faint whisper that hums of freedom. The colors shift gently, browns, ambers, soft reds, and blues that shimmer beneath the sun. Some creatures hide their feathers in dull tones, blending with bark and shadow. Others shine like flames in the canopy, bright as the flowers that bloom beneath them. As the ages pass, the forests fill with motion. Where once there was only the sound of heavy feet, now there is a rustling, a flurry, a faint beating of air. Small feathered dinosaurs run, jump, glide. They chase insects, leap after light, and laugh in their own quiet way as they find new ways to move. The world feels lighter now, as if even the earth is learning how to lift itself a little higher. One day, one of them leaps, higher, faster, stronger than before, and the air holds it longer. The wind catches beneath its feathers, and for the first time, it does not fall right away. For a breathless moment, it hangs between earth and sky, weightless and free. The dream has found its wings. From that moment on, the world begins to change again. The sky fills with motion, flutters, glides, and soaring silhouettes crossing the face of the sun. The creatures that once crept through shadows now chase the wind. They rise above the trees, over rivers, over mountains, their calls echoing softly through the clouds. They sleep in nests, hidden in leaves, their feathers curling around their small bodies like blankets. When morning comes, they stretch their wings and greet the light with song. And though millions of years will pass, and the giants of the earth will fade into memory, these feathered dreams will remain, evolving, adapting, singing. They will become the birds that wake the world each morning, the ones whose wings still carry the memory of the age of dinosaurs. If you listen to the quiet outside your window, you can still hear them, the soft trill of a sparrow, the slow coo of a dove, the steady beat of wings cutting through the air. They are the whispers of that ancient dream, the story of creatures that wanted to touch the sky and found a way to do it. The world remembers them in every feather that falls, every breeze that carries a song. The dinosaurs never truly disappeared. They simply learned how to fly. And now, as your breath slows and your thoughts drift upward, imagine those feathers brushing softly against the wind, rising higher, lighter, freer, carrying the oldest dream of life itself into the sky. Now, let yourself drift deeper into rest and sleep. Tonight, as you close your eyes and let your thoughts drift away, imagine taking a slow breath, deep, calm, and steady. Now imagine that breath belonging not to you, but to the ancient world, a breath drawn in the time of dinosaurs, when the air itself felt heavier, warmer, more alive. It was a different kind of air, thick with moisture, filled with invisible life, carrying the scent of plants, soil, and distant rain. Each breath was a connection to the living earth. The sky then was deeper in color, a hazy blue that met the horizon in a golden blur. The air shimmered in the heat of long afternoons, trembling above the forests and lakes. It moved gently, but constantly, as though the planet itself exhaled a soft, endless sigh. Every living thing felt that breath, the ferns that swayed, the insect that hovered, the great creatures that raised their heads to taste the wind. For the dinosaurs, air was not just emptiness between things. It was life itself. It carried sound, the low calls of giants echoing through the valleys. It carried warmth, wrapping their bodies in comfort as they rested under trees. It carried the scent of water and fruit and other creatures nearby. To breathe was to feel the pulse of the world. The air that time was rich, thick with oxygen and warmth. Plants thrived, spreading wide and tall, feeding on the energy in the sky. The forest seemed to glow with life, leaves broader, roots deeper, every breath they released filling the world with freshness. When the wind moved through those forests, it wasn't sharp or cold. It was soft, heavy, and kind, brushing gently across scales and feathers, carrying the size of the earth from one creature to another. Imagine standing there, beneath the canopy, where shafts of sunlight pierce through mist. The air is warm enough to cling softly to your skin, rich enough that every breath feels like a small, slow song. The ground smells sweet, like rain-soaked wood and green life. Around you, the world hums, not with noise, but with energy. Tiny spores drift in the air, glowing faintly in the golden light. You breathe in, and you are part of it. The rhythm, the cycle, the shared existence of everything that lives and grows. Even the oceans joined in the breathing of the world. Waves pulled in air and released it again, bubbling softly through coral forests. The wind from the sea moved inland, carrying the cool scent of salt and the songs of unseen creatures. Across the plains, air rolled like an invisible tide, bending grasses and rustling the tops of ferns. And above it all, the clouds drifted, great white shapes slowly turning, their bellies glowing orange in the light of ancient sunsets. When storms came, they did not rush. The wind gathered gradually, whispering first through treetops, then building into a long, low sigh that filled the valleys. Rain followed, thick and warm, falling straight and heavy, feeding the soil, refreshing every leaf. The earth exhaled in return, steam rising from the ground, mist curling between trunks. The air shimmered again, alive with breath and memory. Every heartbeat in that world was tied to the air. The smallest insect to the tallest brachiosaurus. All breathed the same sky, shared the same invisible song. When one exhaled, another inhaled, and the cycle continued without pause. Even the volcanoes, sleeping deep below, joined in the rhythm, sending soft breaths of gas and warmth upward, feeding the atmosphere that wrapped the planet in its tender glow. That same air, though changed, is still here. It has drifted, evolved, traveled through time, through leaves, oceans, lungs, and clouds, carrying pieces of every life that ever was. When you breathe tonight, you are breathing the memory of that ancient world. The same molecules of air that once passed through the lungs of a dinosaur now fill your own, connecting you to a past that never truly ended. So take another slow breath. Feel the air move in and out, calm and endless. It is the same rhythm the earth has known forever, a gentle, patient act of life, repeated over millions of years. The air that held their world still holds ours, soft and steady, keeping the story of all living things alive. Now, let yourself drift deeper into rest and sleep tonight. As you close your eyes and let your thoughts drift away, imagine the world at the edge of change. The forests still glow with morning light, the rivers still hum their soft songs, and the great creatures of the earth still move through the mist, slow, peaceful, unaware. Yet somewhere far beyond the horizon, the rhythm of the planet begins to shift. The air holds its breath. The world grows still, as though it senses that the dream is about to end. It begins not with fire or thunder, but with silence. The light fades, dimmer each day, until the sun seems to linger behind a veil. The sky, once bright and wide, turns a soft gray, then deeper, like twilight that never fully leaves. The warmth that once wrapped the forest in comfort now slips away. A quiet chill spreads through the valleys, through the leaves, through the very air itself. The great dinosaurs lift their heads, listening. They do not understand what is changing, only that the world has grown quieter. The insects hum less, the birds call softly, the wind carries a cooler song. Even the oceans, once warm and shining, turn darker beneath the heavy clouds. The waves slow, their white crests fading into gray. Then, one day, the sky itself falls. Fire across the horizon, light erupts, brighter than any sunrise, larger than any storm. It comes and goes in a breath, but its echo spreads through the world. The earth trembles, the air fills with dust and heat. But even then, the moment is not angry, only vast, as if the planet's size once, long and deep. The dust rises high into the sky and does not fall. It spreads, wrapping the earth in shadow. Days become dim and endless. Nights stretch longer, colder. The forests, starved of sunlight, begin to fade. Leaves turn pale, then fall, covering the ground in layers of quiet memory. Rivers shrink, mountains darken, and the air, once so thick with life, grows thin and cold. The great creatures move more slowly now. Their calls echo softly through the mist, unanswered. Some wander to the water's edge, their reflections trembling in the dark waves. Others lie down beneath the trees where they once fed, closing their eyes as though resting. The earth cools around them. The world grows silent once more. And yet, even in that stillness, there is no tragedy, only rest. The earth, like all living things, needs to sleep. The giant who ruled its surface drift into that sleep with grace. Their bones settle gently into the soil, carried by time, wrapped in the earth's embrace. The wind moves through the empty forest, whispering their names one last time. The rain falls softly, washing the dust from their final footprints. Above, the stars return. The sky, dark but clear, begins to glow again with quiet light. The moon watches over the resting world, silver and calm. In the stillness, seeds that survived in the soil wait for the warmth to return. Tiny creatures, hidden underground, breathe quietly through the long night. Life, even in its smallest form, continues to dream. The age of giants passes not with destruction, but with transformation. The earth turns, as it always has, and begins again. In time, the sun returns. The air grows soft once more, the rain warm. Ferns unfurl, new forests rise. And from the quiet edges of those forests, small, feathered beings take their first steps into the new world, carrying the breath, the memory, and the dream of those who came before. The dinosaurs are gone, but not lost. Their bones sleep beneath mountains, their stories folded into stone. Their spirit lives in every bird that greets the morning, in every leaf that opens to the light, in every wave that touches the shore. The world they built still whispers through time, patient, eternal, unbroken. Now, as the earth sleeps, you can rest too. The stars above you are the same ones that watch them fade. The wind that touches your skin once passed over their world. The silence that fills the night is full of their peace. Now, let yourself drift deeper into rest and sleep. Tonight, as you close your eyes and let your thoughts drift away, imagine the world after the storm, after the fire, after the long sleep. The great roar of the earth has faded, and what remains is silence, wide, deep, and endless. The sky is pale and still, washed clean of ash. The air hangs softly over the quiet land, heavy with calm. The world is resting. The earth itself seems to breathe again, slow and steady, as awaking from a long and gentle dream. The land is bare at first, gray soil, dark stones, quiet hills. The forests that once reached toward the heavens are gone, but the seeds remain, hidden deep beneath the ground, waiting. Beneath layers of dust and silence, life stays again. Tiny roots push softly through the soil, stretching toward the faint warmth of the sun. The first shoots of green break through the ash, trembling in the light breeze. They are small, fragile, but alive. The rain returns, gentle and constant. It falls in thin silver lines, washing the land clean, filling the rivers that once ran dry. Each drop hums against the earth, a quiet promise that life will return. The sound of rain becomes a new heartbeat of the planet. It falls on the empty plains, on the dark hills, on the still oceans, soothing everything it touches. The land drinks deeply, and the earth exhales, cool and content. Slowly, color begins to bloom again. Moss covers the stones, ferns unfurl their curled fronds, and delicate flowers rise where the soil is richest. The air grows soft and warm once more, carrying the faint scent of new life, wet leaves, fresh rain, gentle soil. The world feels young again, reborn in its own silence. The oceans, too, begin to heal. The waves roll softly now, not angry, not wild. They move with patience, breathing in and out like a sleeping heart. The water turns clear again, catching the light of the new sun. Beneath the surface, tiny creatures drift, their bodies glowing faintly in the blue depths. Coral begins to grow, forming small cities of color in the stillness. The sea, once dark and quiet, hums again with a soft, steady rhythm. In the mountains, streams begin to form, trickling through cracks in the new rock. They wind down into the valleys, carrying minerals, feeding the soil. Each one sings its own small song, the first music of the healed earth. The rivers join together, winding toward the sea, glistening beneath the brightening sky. The wind moves gently across the plains, brushing over young plants, bending them but never breaking them. It carries the scent of life across the land, a sweet, cool smell that speaks of beginnings. Clouds drift lazily, white and light, their shadows moving slowly over the earth like the touch of soft hands. The animals return in time, small ones at first, insects crawling and flying among the ferns, then amphibians stepping carefully from the water. The sound of their movement is faint but certain. The earth listens and smiles quietly. The silence is no longer empty. It is full of breathing, growing, living. The sun rises high each day, golden and gentle. It warms the land but never burns it. The balance is returned. The earth has learned its rhythm again, a calm pulse that moves through the soil, the sea, the sky. The world does not rush to rebuild itself. It simply grows, softly, patiently, as though it knows that healing is not something to be forced, but something that happens when the heart is ready. And as the light fills the valleys, as the oceans whisper, as the wind hums softly through the new forest, the earth feels at peace. The great silence remains, but it is no longer a silence of loss. It is a quiet of rest, a recovery of a planet that has remembered how to breathe. If you stand within that silence, in your mind, in your dreams, you can feel it too, the steady, endless calm of a world reborn. The earth is alive again, gentle and whole. Its heart beats beneath your feet. Its breath moves through the air, and its peace settles softly within you. Now, let yourself drift deeper into rest and sleep. Tonight, as you close your eyes and let your thoughts drift away, imagine the world beneath your feet, deep, quiet, and dark. Layers of earth rest upon one another like blankets, heavy with time. The surface above is alive with wind and rain, with trees and sky and sound. But below, far below, everything is still. The air does not move. The soil is cool and silent. It is here, in the sleeping world beneath the world, that stories lie buried, waiting. Once, these stories were alive. They had faces, movement, warmth. They walked beneath golden light and breathed the air of the ancient earth. They drank from rivers and slept beneath the stars. But now, they rest in stone. Their bones, pressed by millions of years, have turned to rock, smooth, patient, eternal. They no longer walk or breathe, but they dream. The earth keeps them gently. Each fossil lies wrapped in layers of clay and sand, protected from the noise above. It is as though time itself has tucked them in, keeping them safe through storms, through winters, through ages of change. The pressure of the land does not crush them. It holds them close, like memories too precious to forget. In that deep stillness, there is no sound. But if you could listen, truly listen, you might hear something faint. Not words, but a hum, a vibration that feels like the earth whispering to itself. It is the echo of life preserved in silence. The shape of a rib, a tooth, a footprint, each one a note in the long song of time. Rain falls above, and the seasons turn. Mountains rise, then wear away. Rivers carve new paths. The ground shifts, bends, breathes. And still, the fossils remain, untouched, unmoving, dreaming through it all. Their patience is endless. They do not hurry to be found. They wait until the world is ready to remember. Sometimes, a tremor passes through the earth. A rock cracks, a tunnel forms, a stream cuts through stone. Light touches a surface that hasn't seen the sky in millions of years. Dust falls away, revealing the curve of something ancient. The world pauses, just for a moment, to look back at itself. When paleontologists arrive, their brush is gentle, their steps quiet. It feels almost like a meeting between dreams. The living and the long asleep. A careful hand removes a final layer of date, and there it is, the outline of a life that ended before time had a name. It lies perfectly still, but somehow it feels awake, as if it has been waiting for this moment, this breath of air, this return to light. The fossils tell no stories aloud, yet everything about them speaks. The curve of a bone tells how something walked. The wear of a tooth tells what it ate. The pattern of its resting place tells where it fell asleep for the last time. Each stone bone is a letter in the earth's quiet language, one that only patience can translate. Even the smallest fossils, a shell, a leaf, a feather pressed into rock, carry world within them. They are snapshots of forgotten days, fragments of sunlight turned solid. When you hold one, you are touching time itself, the weight of millions of years resting lightly in your hand. And though we call them fossils, they are more than bones and stone. They are the Earth's dreams, frozen moments of life, kept safe so that nothing is truly lost. When the wind passes over the mountains, or the rain washes a hillside clean, it is a planet whispering to its sleeping memories, gently reminding them that they are not forgotten. So tonight, as you breathe, think of them, the stories resting deep beneath you. The world above changes, but they remain quiet and calm, keeping their secrets until it is time to be found. They do not hurry. They do not fade. They simply wait, dreaming beneath the endless rhythm of the earth. Now, let yourself drift deeper into rest and sleep. Tonight, as you close your eyes and let your thoughts drift away, imagine the earth long after the giants had vanished. The forests have changed, the air has cooled, and the land wears new shapes and colors. Mountains have risen where seas once shimmered, and quiet valleys now cover the graves of ancient worlds. For millions of years, the bones of the dinosaurs have slept beneath it all, undisturbed, unbroken, dreaming in stone. And then, one day, the world above stays differently. The first people begin to walk the land, not knowing that beneath their feet lies a history far older than any story they are told. They wander through dry valleys, over rocky hills, beside rivers that cut deep into the earth. The wind blows dust aside, and for the first time in ages, something gleams in the sunlight. A shape half buried in the ground, curved, smooth, strange. A fragment of bone, heavier than it should be, hard as rock. The finder kneels down, brushing away the dirt with careful hands. It is not like the bones of any creature they have seen. Too large, too old, too mysterious. They do not yet know the word dinosaur, or even the idea of a world before their own. They only know wonder, a quiet awe at what the earth has revealed. The bone is lifted slowly, as though it might crumble under the weight of time. Sunlight glints on its surface, turning the stone to gold for a moment. Around it, others gather, whispering softly. They imagine dragons, giants, spirits of the mountains, trying to give name to something beyond their understanding. In that moment, they hold not just stone, but time itself. Years pass, generations come and go, and the buried stories continue to emerge. Farmers plowing their fields strike something hard beneath the soil. Quarry workers uncover massive shapes in the rock. Children find strange footprints pressed into cliffs, larger than any they've ever seen. Each discovery brings both confusion and quiet wonder. The earth, it seems, is speaking in fragments, one fossil at a time. In distant lands, explorers begin to dig more carefully. They bring tools, brushes, notebooks. They sit under the sun, wiping away layers of dust with patient strokes. And slowly, patterns begin to appear, a jawbone here, a spine there, teeth shaped like curved moons. Piece by piece, the great skeletons take form again. The bones, once scattered, begin to tell their stories. Imagine their faces, the first paleontologists, as they uncover the long neck of a creature that could touch the tops of trees. Imagine their quiet astonishment as they realize that the earth once belonged to beings unlike anything alive today. It is not fear they feel, but reverence. They work not as conquerors of the past, but as listeners, trying to understand what time has whispered to stone. When they finally lift the bones from the ground, they handle them like something sacred. Dust falls from each curve, each hollow, each joint, the dust of 1,000 millennia. They know they are touching history, not written in words but carved into the heart of the planet. The fossils are not relics of death. They are proof of life, vast, enduring, and beautiful. In quiet museums lit by golden lamps, the bones are placed together again. Children gaze upward at the towering skeletons, their eyes wide with wonder. The air feels different there, still, heavy, sacred, as if the fossils are breathing once more. Even in their stillness, they seem alive. The curve of a neck, the reach of a tail, the suggestion of movement caught between moments. And though the scientists will learn their names, Brachiosaurus, Triceratops, Tyrannosaurus, and draw them with precision and care, there will always remain something more. Something that can't be measured or labeled. The quiet mystery of holding time in your hands. The first discoveries were not about knowledge alone. They were about connection, between the living and the long gone, between present breath and ancient air. The bones told humans that they, too, were part of something vast, a story written long before their birth, still unfolding beneath their feet. Even now, when a fossil is found, the same feeling returns, that small, steady heartbeat of wonder. The earth gives up one of its dreams, and the living kneel to listen. Now, let yourself drift deeper into rest and sleep. Tonight, as you close your eyes and let your thoughts drift away, imagine a wide, open desert beneath a pale morning sun. The air is still, holding a faint warmth that rises gently from the earth. The wind carries with it tiny grains of dust, soft, golden, and ancient. Somewhere in this quiet land, a group of people kneel close to the ground. Their hands move slowly, carefully, as if they are listening to something invisible. And in a way, they are. For beneath the dust lies a voice, faint but patient, the whisper of the ancient earth. The scientists work in silence. Brushes move in slow, deliberate strokes, tracing the outline of a bone that has slept for millions of years. Each sweep of dust reveals more of the story, a curve of stone that was once alive, a ridge that once carried muscle and movement. They do not dig quickly. They treat the ground with reverence, knowing that it remembers far more than they can imagine. When the wind pauses, there is nothing but the soft sound of brushes on stone, gentle, rhythmic, almost like breathing. The scientists lean closer, their eyes following each delicate shape. They are not just uncovering fossils, they are uncovering time. Every particle of dirt they lift away feels like opening a page in the oldest book ever written. Sometimes, one of them stops. They set their brush aside and close their eyes for a moment. The world around them hums faintly, a deep, low vibration from the ground below. It is not a sound you can hear with your ears. It is something you feel, somewhere beneath your ribs. The earth speaking softly, not in words, but in presence. A reminder that it is alive, that it holds the memories of everything that has ever been. The bones take shape slowly, piece by piece. A jawline appears, the curve of a rib, the delicate imprint of what was once a feather or a leaf. Each discovery feels personal, as though the earth has chosen this moment, this person, to share its secret. There is no rush, no noise, no greed, only patience and care. As the sun climbs higher, the heat deepens. The scientists pause to wipe the sweat from their brows, their faces streaked with dust. Around them, the desert stretches in every direction, silent, endless, shimmering. Yet, in that silence, there is comfort. It feels as though the world is holding its breath with them, watching as they gently pull its stories back into the light. Every now and then, the wind returns, soft and low, brushing over their shoulders, lifting a few grains of sand from the ground. It almost sounds like a sigh, a whisper, as if the earth itself is grateful to be remembered. They take notes in worn journals, sketching what they see, tracing outlines with steady hands. Their words are simple, but their hearts are full. They know they are not just studying bones, they are listening to the echoes of life, the breath of creatures that once shared the same sunlight, the same air. The distance between past and present fades, and for a moment, time feels circular, one long inhale, one endless exhale. As the day ends, the sky turns amber and soft. The shadows grow long across the excavation site. The scientists pack their tools, but before they leave, they stand for a while in silence. The uncovered fossils rest before them, half buried, half free, glowing faintly in the fading light. The air is warm, quiet, reverent. The wind picks up again, carrying the faint rustle of sand. It sounds like a voice, low and kind. Not a language, but a feeling, gratitude, continuity, memory. The earth whispers to them, not goodbye, but thank you for listening. Thank you for remembering. And as they walk away, The desert returns to stillness. The stars begin to rise above the horizon, shimmering softly over the place where time has spoken. The ground, though disturbed, feels peaceful. Its secrets are safe again, now shared with those who will carry them forward. Tonight, the same earth rests beneath you, full of whispers, full of stories, waiting quietly to be heard. If you listen closely, even now, you can feel it, that faint hum beneath the silence. The sound of the planet breathing, remembering, dreaming. Now, let yourself drift deeper into rest and sleep. Tonight, as you close your eyes and let your thoughts drift away, imagine a quiet room filled with soft light. The air is cool and still, and on a long wooden table rests something pale and ancient, a fossil, freshly uncovered, still carrying traces of the earth from which it came. The scientist stands over it, silent for a moment, as though in prayer, because within this single shape of stone lies a secret, not only of death, but of life. Every fossil begins as a moment once alive. A step across soft mud, a breath beneath a heavy sun, a heartbeat that once matched the rhythm of the world. When the creature fell, the earth embraced it, covering it in soil, protecting it from the rush of time. Layer upon layer, century upon century, until what was once warm became stone. But the memory remained. The bones remember the light that touched them, the air that filled their lungs, the sound of wind moving through the trees above. Look closely, and you can see it. The way a bone curves tells how it moved, how it walked, how it carried its weight. The size of a rib speaks of breath. The pattern of a tooth speaks of hunger and survival. The shape of a claw whispers of forests it climbed or rivers it crossed. Even the smallest mark, pressed into stone, is a sentence in the story of life. When paleontologists uncover these fossils, they are not finding the end of something. They are finding a continuation, a voice that never stopped speaking, only grew quieter. Each fossil is a message from the past, carried through layers of time, waiting for someone to listen. It does not tell us only how something died, but how it lived, how it moved with the wind, how it searched for food, how it rested in the heat of the day. Some fossils still carry the faint trace of skin or feathers, pressed into stone like the imprint of a memory. Under gentle light, they reveal the tiniest details, the curve of a scale, the pattern of a wing, the soft outline of something once full of color. These details are small miracles, reminders that even after millions of years, beauty does not disappear. It simply changes its shape. In museums, when people stand before the great skeletons of dinosaurs, they often see them as relics of something lost. But if you look long enough, you begin to feel something else. These bones do not feel empty. They feel alive. The way they stretch toward the ceiling, the way their shapes flow together, it is as if they are breathing again, drawing air through the ages. They do not mourn what has passed. They tell us that life, in all its forms, is unstoppable. Think of the sunlight those bones once felt, the warmth that glowed on their backs, the golden haze through the trees. Think of the movement, the slow steps through rivers, the turn of a head, the flick of a tail. Each fossil is a photograph of a moment that time refused to erase. When you touch one, even lightly, you are touching that moment, a bridge between now and forever. The scientists who study them know this well. As they brush away the dust and reveal each bone, they work with care and quiet reverence. They do not rush. They listen. They trace every line, every hollow, reading the story written in stone. And sometimes, when the light hits just right, they can almost see it, a shadow of the creature as it once was, standing beneath the sun, alive and whole. Every fossil, no matter how small, is a promise that nothing beautiful is ever truly gone. That life leaves echoes, even when silence follows. That the earth remembers everything. The bones are not cold reminders of the end. They are warm testaments to the beginning. If you could hold one in your hand, you would feel its weight, not heavy with sorrow, but with meaning. It carries the sunlight of a day that no longer exists, the breath of an age that sleeps beneath our feet. It is proof that the world has always been alive, that life has always found a way to sing, even if its voice now comes from stone. So as you rest tonight, think of those bones resting too, deep in the earth or glowing faintly beneath museum lights. They are not ghosts. They are memories, eternal and kind, whispering softly through time. We were here, we lived, we loved the sun. Now, let yourself drift deeper into rest and sleep. Tonight, as you close your eyes and let your thoughts drift away, imagine a world bathed not just in sound and movement, but in color. The sunlight of the ancient earth falls through thick canopies, scattering across the leaves in golden rays. It glows over ferns, shimmers on wet rocks, and turns the air into a soft mist of green and gold. And moving through that light are the dinosaurs, not the dull gray shadows we once imagined, but creatures painted by nature herself, dressed in colors the world has long forgotten. The great herbivores, calm and slow, move through the forest like living tapestries. Their skin gleams faintly with mossy greens that blend with the leaves, deep earthy browns that ripple like bark when they walk. Along their backs, faint stripes of golden light catch the sun, each movement reflecting the color of the world around them. They do not hide from sight, they belong to it. The forest and the creature are one, each mirroring the other in quiet harmony. By the river, smaller dinosaurs move through the reeds, their feathers shimmering with blue and silver when the light touches them. Some glisten like wet stones, others like shadows moving through water. When they run, their feathers flash for an instant, a streak of color across the air, and then fade again into the soft green world. In the open plains, the light changes. The sun burns bright above, and colors deepen. Red dust clings to scales, amber light rolls over the horizon. The creatures that wander here are painted differently, ochre and rust, copper and cream, the tones of warmth and dust and distance. Their eyes reflect the color of the sky, soft gold in daylight, deep violet when the sun begins to sink. At dusk, the air becomes a watercolor of violet and rose. The Great Lakes mirror the fading light, and flying reptiles circle above, their wings glowing faintly pink at the edges. Some glide through the clouds like shadows of fire, others sparkle like distant stars as they turn in the dying light. The world glows softly, as if it has been brushed by a painter who worked with sunlight instead of paint. Even in darkness, the colors do not disappear, they change. The forest turns blue, the rivers shine silver, the leaves glisten black-green in the moonlight. The dinosaurs move quietly through this dim world, their outlines blending into the soft glow of the night. Along the banks of still ponds, bioluminescent plants shimmer faintly, small dots of light glowing among the roots, echoing the stars above. The creatures pause beside them, and for a brief moment, the living and the luminous stand together beneath a sky that hums with ancient calm. Scientists can only guess now what colors truly adorn them, but the earth remembers. Traces of pigment still hide inside fossilized feathers, whispers of crimson, hints of blue, glimmers of gold. Under microscopes, those tiny patterns tell us that life back then was not just vast, but vibrant. The dinosaurs were not gray shadows in a colorless world. They were bursts of light and hue, each one shaped by its place beneath the sun. Imagine a mother dinosaur resting beneath a tree, her feathers soft olive and cream, her nest hidden beneath leaves the same shade as her back. Imagine her young, newly hatched, covered in faint downy fuzz, pale yellow and white like the dawn itself. Imagine their small eyes reflecting the sky as they look up for the first time. Even here, in this forgotten time, color is not decoration. It is language. It is life. When we think of them now, we paint them again in our minds, not to invent them, but to remember them, to honor the beauty that time once carried across the surface of the earth. Every tone, every shimmer, every speck of brightness is a way the universe once expressed itself through living breath. And though the colors of that world have faded, their echo remains, in the bright feathers of birds, in the scales of lizards, in the way sunsets still spill gold and red across the sky. The past has not disappeared. It has simply changed its form, carrying the memory of those colors forward into everything that still glows, still flies, still breathes. So as you drift tonight, imagine those hues floating gently through the air, soft greens, warm ambers, and deep ocean blues, painting a dream of a world that still exists somewhere within the quiet heart of time. Now, let yourself drift deeper into rest and sleep. Tonight, as you close your eyes and let your thoughts drift away, imagine the quiet of early morning, before the world is fully awake. The sky is pale silver, the air still cool, and somewhere nearby, a bird begins to sing, softly, gently, as if testing the silence. Its song drifts through the trees like a breath, simple yet eternal. It is a sound that has never truly ended, only changed, an echo from an age long past, when the ancestors of these birds still walked the earth on heavy feet, beneath golden suns. Once, long ago, the sky belonged to others. Dinosaurs with feathers stretched across their arms glided through the air, wings not yet perfect, but full of promise. They leapt from tree to tree, from cliff to branch, feeling the air lift them for a few brief heartbeats before they landed again. Each glide was a question, and the wind answered softly, "Not yet, but soon." Over time, feathers grew lighter, bones grew hollow, muscles learned the rhythm of air. Flight was not born in an instant. It was practiced, refined, dreamed into being through countless generations. What began as balance became gliding, and what began as gliding became freedom. The earth, once ruled by giants who walked, began to fill with creatures that flew. Imagine those first true birds rising into the dawn, small, delicate, their feathers catching the light like brushstrokes of gold. Their wings beat slowly, unsure but determined, and the sky opened to welcome them. For the first time, the wind carried their songs. They were not the roars of their ancestors, nor the thunder of great herds, but soft, lilting notes that danced on the air. The planet had found a new voice. The forest that once trembled beneath the feet of dinosaurs now shimmered with sound, chirps, whistles, trills. The air became alive with movement. Where once shadows of giants fell across the ground, now flocks of tiny wings painted the sky. The earth had changed, but it had not forgotten. The same pulse that beat in the hearts of the dinosaurs now beat in the fragile chests of birds. Today, that pulse is still with us. It hums in every feather that stays, in every gentle flap of wings against the wind. When a sparrow hops along a branch, when a heron glides low across still water, when a hawk circles in silence above the fields, all of them are telling the same story. They are the living descendants of dreams that began millions of years ago. Watch a bird for a while, and you'll see it. The grace of its movement, the precision of its flight, the quiet strength behind its softness. It carries in its body the memory of giants, the bones reshaped, the feathers perfected, the song inherited. The dinosaurs are not gone. They have simply taken on lighter forms, learned gentle ways. Their roars have become melodies. Their power has become peace. When evening falls and the last rays of sunlight fade from the sky, birds gather on telephone wires, on branches, on rooftops. They sit close, their feathers puffed, their bodies warm against one another. Their silhouettes darken against the orange light, and for a moment, they seem timeless, as if the same creatures that once ruled the earth are now resting quietly above it. And when night comes, and they sleep beneath the stars, they dream of the same wind their ancestors once felt, the endless air, the freedom of flight, the open sky. The difference is only in form, not in spirit. Life continues, reshaped but never broken, still singing, still rising, still learning to move with grace. So the next time you hear a bird outside your window, that single, delicate voice calling to the morning air, remember that you are hearing the oldest song in the world. A song that began when the earth was young, when the air was thick and warm, when feathers were new. It is a song of survival, of transformation, of memory. It is the voice of the dinosaurs, softened by time, still carried on the wind. Now, let yourself drift deeper into rest and sleep. Tonight, as you close your eyes and let your thoughts drift away, imagine the world not as it is now, but as it once was, a single vast land beneath an endless blue sky. The earth's face was smooth and wide, wrapped in forests and seas that stretched without boundary. Mountains were smaller then, rivers wandered like silver threads, and the air was thick with warmth and life. It was the beginning of movement, the slow heartbeat of a planet learning to change its shape. Deep beneath the surface, the earth was restless. The continents, though they seemed still, floated gently on a sea of molten stone. They drifted, inch by inch, slower than any tide, slower than any breath. It was not something that could be seen or felt, only known in the quiet rhythm of time. The land cracked, groaned, and shifted like the slow turning of a dream. Millions of years passed, and the single continent began to break apart. Great valleys opened where once there had been hills. Oceans poured in to fill the gaps, creating new shapes, new shores. The earth exhaled softly, and new lands were born. Each movement was gentle, deliberate, guided by patience rather than force. Mountains rose like sighs, islands appeared like whispers, and the face of the world slowly changed. The dinosaurs walked across these moving lands, unaware that beneath their feet the planet was drifting. They followed the forests as they spread, the rivers as they twisted into new paths. Where there had once been desert, rain began to fall. Where there had once been shallow sea, coral grew, and fish shimmered in the warm light. The earth was not breaking, it was breathing, expanding, renewing itself with every shift. Imagine standing on one of those early continents, feeling the hum of the world beneath your feet. The ground seemed solid, but deep below, it moves like a tide, flowing with heat and purpose. You could not hear it, but if you were still enough, you might feel it, the soft pulse of magma, the hidden current of creation. Over time, the continents drift farther apart. The great ocean between them deepens, its waves carrying the reflection of unfamiliar stars. New climates form. Some lands grow colder, wrapped in mist and snow. Others bloom with rime forests, thick and green. Volcanoes rise and rest, adding new stone to the growing earth. With every eruption, the world reshapes itself, never in haste, never in panic, but in quiet, endless patience. Even the smallest change carries meaning. A new coastline invites new life. A shifting mountain shelters new forests. The winds change direction, and seeds travel across seas to bloom on foreign soil. Every movement, every drift, is part of the Earth's calm design, not chaos, but evolution. As the ages tone, creatures evolve with the planet. When land divides, species part ways. When mountains rise, they learn to climb. When seas open, they learn to swim farther. Life bends and adjusts, never fighting the current of time, but moving with it, trusting it. The Earth teaches this lesson again and again, that change, even when unseen, is not loss. It is transformation. The continents we know today, the shapes we trace on maps, are only one moment in that long story. They too are moving, even now, drifting slowly beneath our feet. The mountains we call ancient are still climbing toward the sky. The oceans we think eternal are still breathing in and out. The world is alive, still turning, still remaking itself with gentle certainty. And as you lie here, listening to your own breath, you share that same rhythm, slow, steady, timeless. The air that fills your lungs once drifted over those early seas. The ground beneath you was once part of that single, endless land. You are part of the same motion, the same quiet patience that has shaped the planet since its beginning. So let the image settle in your mind. Continents drifting like clouds, mountains rising from the deep, rivers carving their songs into stone. The world never stopped changing. It only learned how to do it softly. Now, let yourself drift deeper into rest and sleep. Tonight, as you close your eyes and let your thoughts drift away, imagine that the earth itself is sleeping. Not the kind of sleep that ends with morning, but a deep, timeless slumber, the kind that holds memories instead of dreams. Beneath the mountains, under the seas, through layers of stone and roots and silence, the planet dreams of its own past. Its heart still beats softly, deep below the crust, keeping time with the turning of the stars. In that great, slow dream, the earth remembers everything. It remembers the warmth of its youth, when fire danced across its surface and the sky glowed red with creation. It remembers the first drops of rain that cooled its skin, the steam that rose like breath, and the rivers that began to form. It remembers the first forest, green and wild, growing without plan or pause. And it remembers the creatures, small at first, then larger, then magnificent, that walked, swam, and flew beneath its sun. In its dreaming, the earth sees the dinosaurs again. They move through golden light, calm and vast. Their shadows stretch across fern-filled valleys, their calls echo softly through the air. The earth does not dream of their end, but of their being, their peace, their rhythm, their belonging. It remembers how they brushed against the trees, how their footsteps made the ground tremble gently, how their hearts beat in time with its own. It remembers the scent of rain on ancient leaves, the shimmer of light on their skin. The dream drifts and changes. The earth remembers the oceans, how they once glowed with blue fire beneath the moon, how waves whispered to the shore like soft voices telling endless stories. It remembers the shapes of islands rising and sinking, the slow stretch of continents finding their places. Each movement, each breath, each pulse of magma beneath the crust was a thought in its vast, unending dream. Sometimes, the earth dreams of silence. The long pauses between ages, when life sleeps and the world catches its breath. In those moments, it remembers not the noise of creation, but the peace of stillness, the way ashes settle after fire, the way snow quiets a forest, the way night softens everything it touches. It is in those silences that the planet feels its own patience, its steady rhythm that never rushes, never fears, never stops. It dreams, too, of the first people who touched its surface, those who looked at the sky and felt wonder instead of fear. It remembers their hands brushing its soil, their voices calling out to the stars. There were the bones they found beneath its skin. The earth dreams kindly of them, the way a parent dreams of children. Proud, curious, fragile, yet full of light. All the while, it turns. Even in its sleep, it moves, slow and silent, circling the sun in a rhythm older than memory. The seasons drift through its dream like colors in water, green to gold, gold to white, white to blue. Clouds form and fade, mountains rise and wear away, yet the dream remains. Nothing is lost within it. Every life, every sound, every breath still glows softly somewhere in the folds of its memory. If you listen closely, you can feel it, that deep hum beneath everything, the quiet vibration that connects you to the planet's heart. Every step you take, every inhale you draw, echoes through that dream. The earth remembers you, too, just as it remembers the dinosaurs, the oceans, and the stars. You are part of its story now, part of its endless rest. And perhaps, as you sleep tonight, your dreams will meet the earth for a moment. You will feel the warmth of the ancient sun, the breath of the old forest, the quiet pulse of time moving beneath your skin. You will sense the world beneath you dreaming still, patient, kind, infinite, holding you the way it has held everything it has ever loved. Now, let yourself drift deeper into rest and sleep. Tonight, as you close your eyes and let your thoughts drift away, imagine the sky above an ancient world, a sky not so different from the one you see now. The same stars that glimmered gently through your window tonight once shone above forests of ferns and rivers of mist, above mountains that were still young and oceans that were still learning their shape. The same moon, pale and watchful, once rose over herds of dinosaurs sleeping by still lakes. The same constellations looked down on them, silent and patient, just as they look down on you now. The night in that distant age was vast and clear. There were no cities, no fires, no lights to soften the dark, only the deep blue-black of the universe, alive with stars. Their light fell across the backs of slow-moving giants, tracing soft outlines of silver along their scales. It gleamed on the tips of leaves, on ripples in the water, on the curve of ancient bones resting in the grass. Every beam of starlight was a thread, connecting that forgotten world to this one. Imagine standing there millions of years ago, on the edge of a wide plain. The air is warm, the night full of quiet sound, insects humming, leaves whispering, distant calls fading through the dark. You look up, and the stars seem endless. They shimmer, steady and calm, stretching forever in every direction. You could almost feel them breathing, each one alive with a soft pulse of light. The dinosaurs must have looked up, too, in their own still moments, perhaps while resting beside a river or walking slowly through the shadows. They would have seen what you see, the same constellations scattered like dust across the black. The stars watched over everything, the rise and fall of oceans, the birth of mountains, the first spark of feathers, the last breath of a dying age. They have never stopped watching. Long after the great creatures fell silent and the forests changed, the stars continued to shine, carrying the memory of it all. Their light has crossed time itself, traveling from the ancient sky into yours. Every twinkle you see is a whisper from that faraway world. The earth turned beneath them, then as now, spinning gently through space. Each night, the stars slid slowly across the heavens, marking time with their quiet motion. The same constellations that guided sailors and travelers today once cast their faint glow on sleeping giants. The Big Dipper, Orion, the Southern Cross, all of them have been there, eternal witnesses to everything the planet has ever known. If you could look up through time instead of space, you would see them watching still, patient, steady, unchanged. Their light falls not just on the living but on memory itself, tracing every age with quiet grace. The stars have seen the birth of life, the silence of extinction, the return of green after gray. They have watched volcanoes bloom with fire, watched continents drift apart, watched wings rise from scales and flight from dust. And though so much has changed below, the stars remain untouched, a soft, shining bridge between past and present. When you stand beneath them, you are standing exactly where they stood, beneath the same quiet gaze. The night connects all time, the living and the lost, the then and the now, under one gentle canopy of light. Sometimes, when you look up and feel small, remember that you are not alone. The dinosaurs once stood in that same smallness, beneath the same infinity. The world has changed, but the sky has not forgotten. The light that touched them touches you. The same calm spreads over you both, the same still peace that has soothed the earth for eons. And perhaps, in the silence of night, the stars remember them too. Their light moves endlessly through the dark, carrying the reflection of every age. Every shining point is a memory, every constellation a reminder that nothing truly ends. It only transforms beneath the same eternal sky. So tonight, as the stars watch over you, let that thought settle deep inside, that you are part of the same story, written in light, carried through time, never broken. The same stars that watched over them now shine for you. The same calm that covered their world still covers yours. Now, let yourself drift deeper into rest and sleep. Tonight, as you close your eyes and let your thoughts drift away, imagine a mountain standing silent beneath the stars. Its slopes are rough and ancient, its heart made of layers that remember everything. Deep inside that mountain, hidden where no light has touched for millions of years, there's a whisper, not a sound, but a feeling. It is the echo of life, preserved in stone. Long ago, before the mountain existed, this place was a valley filled with warmth and water and the gentle rhythm of life. Creatures walked through soft mud, rested beneath broad trees, and drank from slow rivers. When they left this world, the earth held them, covering them gently with soil and time. Seasons passed, storms washed over, and slowly the world above changed. What had once been a living being became part of the ground itself. Yet something of its beauty, its movement, its memory, remained. The fossils that rest within the stone are not silent. They hum softly, not with sound, but with presence, a vibration that travels through the earth and through time. Each one is an echo of a heartbeat, a reminder that life once filled this quiet world with breath and motion. The bones may be cold, but their shape still remembers the warmth that once surrounded them. The earth has kept that memory safe, pressed between layers of rock like a letter sealed in love. When sunlight touches a fossil for the first time in ages, it is like the world remembering its own dream. Dust falls away, and the curve of a rib, the hollow of a footprint, or the faint outline of a feather appears once more. These shapes are not accidents. They are stories the earth has chosen to keep. The patterns in the Stone-Knight's handwriting, delicate and patient, written over millions of years. Sometimes, you can see more than structure, you can feel grace. The bend of a neck caught mid-turn, the spread of a wing forever frozen in motion, the rhythm of life paused but never lost. The fossils do not show the end of something. They show the continuation of beauty, the way time itself cherishes what once was. The earth does not erase, it transforms. Each layer of rock is like a page, each fossil a word in the great poem of the planet. Together, they tell of days when light fell differently, when air was thick and warm, when creatures called out in voices that no longer exist. Yet even though those voices have gone quiet, their echoes remain, carried not in sound, but in shape, texture, and touch. The scientists who find these fossils listen to those echoes with their eyes. They trace each ridge and line, learning to read what the stone remembers. A single fossil can tell them how a creature walked, how it lived, how it cared for its young. But it can also tell them something greater, that the earth never truly forgets. Every detail, every mark, is a memory carefully kept. And in the stillness of the mountains, you can feel it too. The rocks beneath your feet were once the beds of oceans, the floors of forests, the resting places of creatures who looked up at the same stars you see now. Their beauty was not lost to time. It became part of it. The stone itself glows faintly with their remembrance. Even now, when rain falls on cliffs or rivers carve new paths through canyons, pieces of that history come to light. A shell, a bone, a leaf, each one carries the same quiet message. Life endures in memory. Time does not destroy beauty, it distills it. So when you hold a fossil, you are not holding death. You are holding time, condensed, softened, turned to stone but still alive in meaning. You are holding the proof that everything beautiful leaves something behind, even if only an echo. The earth beneath you is full of such echoes, endless and kind. They hum softly as you breathe, reminding you that you, too, are part of this long memory. Someday, your laughter, your warmth, your small joys will also ripple through time, carried gently in ways you cannot see. Now, let yourself drift deeper into rest and sleep. Tonight, as you close your eyes and let your thoughts drift away, imagine a wide plain under a gray sky. The clouds hang low, heavy with quiet rain. The air smells of dust and stone, touched with a faint sweetness of wet earth. Across this open land, small tents ripple gently in the wind, and figures move slowly between them. Paleontologists, bending close to the ground, their hands patient and calm. The rain falls softly, steady and kind. It does not rush them or wash away their work. It only cools the air and deepens the color of the soil. Droplets cling to the bristles of their brushes, glimmering like tiny stars. Every stroke they make uncovers something ancient, a curve of bone, a hint of fossilized shell, the delicate shape of a world long gone. Each discovery glows faintly beneath the rain, like memory coming back to life. There is no sound but the rain itself, a gentle tapping on canvas, a quiet rhythm on stone. It fills the silence between heartbeats, between thoughts. The scientists do not speak much. They listen to the soft patter on their coats, to the wind sweeping through the valley, to the earth whispering beneath their fingers. Each movement is careful, reverent. A brush moves, a breath steadies, a small stone is lifted and set aside. The bones appear slowly, as though waking from an endless sleep. Their pale surfaces contrast against the dark, wet soil, smooth, curved, beautiful. The scientists smile softly, not with excitement, but with quiet awe. They know that these are not mere stones. They are moments of life, carried through time, now meeting the light again. A droplet runs down a fossil, tracing the shape of a spine that once carried weight, strength, and purpose. The rain gathers in shallow pools around it, and for a moment it seems as if the earth is weeping, not in sorrow, but in remembrance. Every drop feels like a touch, a gentle acknowledgement of what was once alive. The paleontologists pause now and then, leaning back to stretch their hands, their faces lifted toward the rain. It cools their skin, soothes their tired eyes, and washes the dust from their hair. Around them, the landscape stretches, soft hills, mist curling between them, the faint shimmer of puddles reflecting the sky. It feels timeless, as though the earth has paused to watch. The rain deepens, then softens again, its rhythm steady and endless. The air grows thicker, the world quieter. The sound of distant thunder rolls like a slow drum, echoing across the fields. Yet there is no rush, no fear. The scientists keep working, slow and steady, their brushes moving in perfect harmony with the rain. It feels like the planet itself is helping, water loosening the earth, revealing what it has hidden for so long. As the day fades, the clouds begin to thin. The light shifts, silvery and calm, glinting on every surface. The fossils gleam faintly beneath the drizzle, outlines of creatures whose names are only just being remembered. The air feels heavy with peace. No one hurries. The discoveries will wait. The earth has already waited this long. When the rain finally eases, they cover their find with soft cloth, protecting them from the night. The field is quiet now, wrapped in a silver haze. The scientists stand for a moment, their boots in the mud, looking over what they've uncovered. Their faces are calm, thoughtful, filled with something gentle, not pride, but connection. They have touched time, and time has touched them back. As they pack their tools, a final drizzle begins, light and warm. It falls on the covered fossils, on the wet ground, on their tired hands. It feels like a blessing, a lullaby from the earth itself. The bones rest again, waiting for another morning, another softened covering beneath another gray sky. And above it all, the rain continues, soft, steady, eternal. It falls on fossils and leaves, on soil and skin, washing everything in silence and grace. It is the same rain that once fell on the dinosaurs themselves, the same water cycling through time, touching every age with its gentle persistence. Now, let yourself drift deeper into rest and sleep. Tonight, as you close your eyes and let your thoughts drift away, imagine the world quiet after long sleep. The earth is soft beneath the morning sky, and mist curls low across the valleys. The air smells clean, damp stone, new leaves, the faint sweetness of beginnings. The long silence that once covered the planet begins to break, not with noise or chaos, but with a whisper, the sound of life returning. Tiny green shoots push through the dark soil. They rise slowly, stretching toward the pale light, trembling gently in the breeze. Ferns unfurl their delicate fronds, and the scent of rain lingers on their leaves. The forests begin to grow again, first small, then tall, reaching toward the sun like hands in prayer. Flowers open their faces, not all at once, but in quiet succession, each one adding a brushstroke of color to the waking world. And with the plants come the creatures. Insects hum softly in the new warmth, their wings catching drops of dew. Frogs return to the rivers, their voices echoing through the mist. Fish glide through clear water, their scales flashing silver and gold beneath the surface. Every sound, every ripple, every chirp feels like a heartbeat. The earth, which once slept beneath stone and ash, begins to breathe again. The sunlight grows stronger, spilling gold across the land. Small mammals dart through the undergrowth, their fur glistening with morning rain. Birds rise into the air, their wings cutting through the sky like poetry in motion. Their calls ring out, filling the quiet that had lasted too long. The world feels young again, fragile, yes, but full of courage. Life has returned, not as a copy of what was, but as something new, something reborn from memory and hope. The earth does not rush this renewal. It moves at its own slow rhythm, the same rhythm it has always known. Mountains crumble into soil, feeding the forests. Rivers carve new paths through valleys, carrying seeds to distant shores. The wind gathers those seeds, lifting them gently, scattering them like tiny promises. Every gust, every drop, every patch of sunlight carries life forward, as if the planet itself has decided to dream once more. Even in the smallest places, the cracks of a rock, the hollow of a fallen branch, life finds a way. Moss spreads over stone, soft and patient. Tiny flowers bloom where no one will ever see them. It does not matter. Life never asks for witnesses. It grows simply because it must, because it remembers how. The animals that come next are different from the giants before them. Smaller, lighter, quicker. They move through the forest with curiosity instead of thunder. They build nests, dig burrows, sing songs. They love, they rest, they search for warmth. The earth seems to smile in return, offering them everything they need. The balance has shifted, but the heartbeat remains the same, steady, eternal, kind. As the centuries pass, the forests deepen. The oceans fill with color and motion. The air hums with the sound of wings and leaves. The earth, once empty, is alive again. The past does not vanish. It becomes the soil beneath the roots, the memory beneath the sound. Every living thing carries a trace of what came before. The breath of the dinosaurs lives on in the lungs of birds. The spirit of old forest hums within the trees that now sway under the same sun. From destruction comes renewal. From silence comes song. From death comes life. This is the way of the world, not a cycle of loss, but of transformation. The earth never truly ends. It only changes shape, rewriting itself in green and gold with each new dawn. If you listen closely, you can hear it, the hum of life returning, soft as a wind through grass, steady as the waves on shore. It is the same sound that has echoed through time since the very beginning, the quiet persistence of existence itself. And tonight, as you breathe slowly and feel your chest rise and fall, know that you are part of that same rhythm, the same calm flow of creation that has never stopped, not for a single moment. The earth dreams, it rests, and then it awakens again, full of light. Now, let yourself drift deeper into rest and sleep. Tonight, as you close your eyes and let your thoughts drift away, imagine a still morning, wrapped in soft mist and pale gold light. The air feels light, quiet, full of gentle motion. Somewhere nearby, a bird begins to move, a small thing, fragile and calm. It lifts its head, flutters its feathers, and takes its first breath of the day. Then, with a sound as soft as a sigh, it opens its wings and rises. In that motion, in that simple act of flight, the past awakens. For within those wings live memories older than any forest, older than the mountains, older even than the sea. Hidden in the delicate hollow of each bone, in the shape of each feather, are the echoes of creatures that once ruled the earth. The birds of today carry with them the dreams of dinosaurs, the same courage to lift against gravity, the same longing to reach the open sky. Their wings whisper of ancient air, thick, warm, heavy with life. They whisper of trees taller than memory, of rivers that glowed beneath strange suns. They remember the warmth of a world that no longer exists, the thunder of great footsteps across fern-covered ground. Yet what was once thunder has become music. What was once a roar has softened into song. The spirit of the dinosaurs has not vanished. It has learned to sing. When a bird spreads its wings, time folds upon itself. The feathers that shimmer in the light, red, blue, green, gold, are made from the same miracles that gave shape to the first feathered creatures millions of years ago. Each one is a promise the earth kept, that life would never lose its grace. The birds do not know that they are ancient. They simply move, guided by instincts passed down from a world before ours. But in their flight, they perform an act that time itself remembers. Watch a heron glide low over a still lake, its wings brushing the air in slow, rhythmic motion. Watch a falcon dive, swift and silent, through the blue. Watch a sparrow land softly on a branch, its chest rising and falling, tiny but full of purpose. In every gesture, there is something eternal, the echo of the first creatures that dared to leave the ground. Those first feathered dinosaurs that flapped clumsily between trees have become the effortless grace we see today. When you listen to birdsong, you are hearing the earth speak across time. Those melodies that fill the dawn are not random. They are the language of survival, of joy, of memory. The trills, the whistles, the soft coos, each one a reflection of something the world once lost and found again. Their songs rise into the air like prayers, as if thanking the sky for remembering them. Even their smallest gestures carry the past. The tilt of a head, the flick of a tail, the way they preen their feathers with delicate care, all these motions were born in ages when the ground trembled under giants. The difference now is scale, not spirit. What once filled the horizon now perches lightly on your windowsill, still as fierce, still as full of wonder. At night, when the stars spread like dust across the sky, flocks of birds drift high above the sleeping world. They travel quietly, guided by the constellations, the same stars that once shone on the dinosaurs below. Their wings cut through the cool darkness, the faint rhythm of flight echoing in the night air. Each beat of their wings is a reminder that time is not a line, but a circle. Life continues. It transforms, adapts, softens, but it never disappears. The birds do not remember in words. They remember in movement. Their memories are written in flight, in the lift of the wind, the steady pulse of wings, the effortless arcs across the horizon. To fly is to recall what once was, to live as proof that the past never truly fades. Every bird, from the smallest hummingbird to the great eagle, carries that story in its bones, the same structure, the same air-filled chambers, the same design that once lifted their ancestors into prehistoric skies. Somewhere deep within them, perhaps in the rhythm of their hearts, there is still the echo of those first thunderous roars. But now, instead of shaking the earth, they tremble the air with song. Instead of dominance, there is grace. Instead of power, there is peace. In this way, they have transformed not only their bodies but the very idea of what it means to live. They remind us that strength does not always roar. Sometimes, it sings. So when you see a bird rise into the wind, remember, you are witnessing the continuation of the oldest dream on earth, the dream to move freely, to reach toward the light, to belong to both sky and land. You are watching history breathe. Every feather is a page, every wing beat a verse in the story of life itself. And tonight, as the world around you grows still and the last bird settles into its nest, let that quiet truth rest in your heart, that nothing beautiful is ever truly gone. The spirit of the dinosaurs lives in every wing that opens, in every song that greets the dawn, in every shadow that passes gently across the fading light. The earth remembers through them, and through them it continues to dream. Now, let yourself drift deeper into rest and sleep. Tonight, as you close your eyes and let your thoughts drift away, imagine the ocean, endless, deep, and still. The waves rise and fall with a slow, patient rhythm, the same rhythm they have known for millions of years. Beneath the surface, the light fades softly, turning from silver to blue, then from blue to green, and finally to the quiet black of the deep. Down there, where sunlight never reaches, time has stopped. The world below sleeps, and within that sleep, the ocean keeps its secrets. On the floor of that vast, silent world, the bones of ancient creatures rest. Some belonged to dinosaurs who wandered too close to the tide. Others came from beings who lived and died entirely within the sea, creatures so old and strange that they seem more like dreams and memories. Their shapes lie scattered across the sand, ribs like arches, spines curved into slow spirals, skulls turned upward as if still watching the dock above. The ocean holds them gently. Each bone has been wrapped in layers of calm, silt, coral, sand, and silence. Tiny creatures drift over them, touching them without knowing what they are. Algae blooms softly across their surfaces, painting them in shades of green and gray. The sea has turned these bones into part of its landscape, as natural as stone, as quiet as breath. There is no sorrow down there, no mourning for what has passed. The bones are at peace. They do not call out to be found. They do not remember the storms or the heat or the end. They rest in stillness, their sharp edges softened by time, their hollows filled with tiny shells. The ocean, vast and endless, keeps them safe, far from wind and noise and light. Sometimes, when the currents shift, a bone stays slightly, a small movement, no more than a whisper. Sand swirls around it, then settles again. Nothing else changes. Time in the deep sea moves differently. Minutes stretch into centuries, and silence becomes the only sound. The water presses softly from every direction, not crushing but holding, as if the entire ocean were a cradle. The sea remembers, but not with sadness. It remembers with tenderness. Every fossil beneath its surface is a page in the story of life, not erased, but written in salt and stillness. Fish swim above, unaware that beneath them are the remnants of worlds long gone. Whales pass overhead, their songs vibrating through the water, brushing the ocean floor with waves of sound. For a moment, the bones seem to hum in response, as though the echoes of old life and new are speaking to each other. There are fossils buried so deep that no diver will ever reach them. They lie beyond the light, where pressure and darkness meet, where no eye can see. But they are there, the unbroken memories of creation, sleeping side by side with creatures that still glow softly in the dark. The earth keeps its oldest dreams there, far from harm, far from haste. Above, the surface ripples with storms and sunlight, but the deep remains unchanged. When waves crash on the shore, the energy fades long before it reaches that silent kingdom. The deep ocean is a sanctuary, a place where time holds its breath, where even decay becomes beauty. In certain places, the seabed rises into underwater plateaus, and the bones there rest among coral gardens. Colorful fish swim between the ribs of a creature that last breathed 100 million years ago. Sea fans wave slowly, brushing against stone that was once alive. The water glows faintly with life, yet everything feels peaceful, a balance between what was and what is. If you could stand there, you would not feel fear, only stillness. The silence would surround you like music without sound. The bones would not seem dead, they would seem eternal. They belong there now, not relics of a lost world, but guardians of memory, part of the endless dreaming of the sea. Even now, the ocean continues to collect stories. Every year, new lives end and drift downward. Shells, coral, scales, and bones, joining the vast library of the deep. Layer by layer, the ocean writes its story, one life at a time. It does not hurry. It knows that memory does not fade, it only settles. When you look out at the sea from the shore, you see only its surface, the glitter of sunlight, the movement of waves, the vast horizon. But beneath that, hidden from view, lies the quiet heart of the world. A place where the first creatures once swam, where the last bones now rest, where every ripple of life has left a trace. The ocean does not speak, yet it tells every story. It remembers not in words, but in form, the smooth curve of a shell, the shadow of a fin, the faint outline of a spine buried beneath sand. Its silence is full of voices, if only you know how to listen. And tonight, as you breathe slowly, imagine that calm beneath the waves, the deep stillness that has held life and death and everything in between. The ocean's secrets are not meant to be solved. They are meant to be felt, vast, ancient, and kind. Now, let yourself drift deeper into rest and sleep. Tonight, as you close your eyes and let your thoughts drift away, imagine the earth not as rock or soil, but as something alive, vast, breathing, ancient. Beneath every step you take, beneath every mountain, forest, and ocean, there are layers upon layers of memory. The planet remembers everything. Every leaf that has ever fallen, every creature that has ever lived, every whisper that has ever passed through a wind, all of it is still here, woven softly into the fabric of the world. The earth is a keeper of moments. It does not forget. The ashes of volcanoes, the trace of raindrops on stone, the curve of a fossilized rib, all our stories the world has chosen to hold. Time presses them gently into its skin, not to bury them, but to preserve them. The soil beneath your feet is full of quiet echoes, the laughter of rivers, the hum of insects, the song of forests that no longer stand. Even silence leaves an impression if it stays long enough. Think of a mountain. To us, it seems eternal, unmoving. But to the earth, it is just another thought, slowly forming, rising, then wearing away. Inside that mountain lie the remains of old seas, old forests, old skies. Each layer of rock is a memory, each mineral a fragment of something that once shimmered in light. The mountain does not speak, but it remembers the warmth of sun on ancient waves, the tremble of earth when creatures walked across its shore, the first drops of rain that fell when the sky was new. Even the smallest grain of sand carries a story. Once it was part of a larger stone, or perhaps a shell from a creature that lived and died in the sea. The wind lifted it, carried it, dropped it again. Over centuries, it became part of a dune, a beach, a riverbank, part of the rhythm of the planet's slow breathing. When you hold sand in your hand, you are holding time itself, not in years, but in texture. The earth has turned and turned, and in that turning, it has kept everything. There are memories in the oceans, too. Every wave that rises carries the touch of the one before it. The salt in the water is the same salt that once brushed the scales of ancient fish, that once cooled the skin of dinosaurs when they came to drink, that still lingers in our own blood. The ocean remembers through repetition, tides, storms, stillness. It keeps the rhythm steady, so that nothing is ever truly lost, only reshaped. In the forest, the memory is alive. Trees grow from the soil that once held their ancestors, drinking from the same deep wells of water. Their roots intertwine with stone that has seen everything, and their leaves whisper to the wind, passing secret from one generation to the next. Even after fire, after storms, after loss, the green always returns, not as a copy of what was, but as a continuation of the same song. When lightning strikes, when rivers carve new paths, when mountains crumble into valleys, the earth still remembers. It does not mourn what changes, it celebrates it. Every movement, every erosion, every birth and ending is part of its long, slow dreaming. What we call destruction is often just transformation, the world reshaping its memories into something new. Even we are part of that memory. Our breath becomes part of the wind. Our bodies, when we are gone, return to the soil, feeding roots and rivers. The earth absorbs us gently, without judgment, without distinction. We become part of its story, not forgotten, only folded into the rhythm of everything else. In this way, the planet keeps us all. There are moments, if you listen carefully, when you can feel it remembering. The sound of rain on your window is the same music that has played since the beginning of time. The scent of wet earth after a storm is an old, familiar perfume, the world's way of exhaling its memory. The shimmer of sunlight on the ocean is a reflection of all the mornings that ever were. The earth does not speak in words. It speaks in repetition. In the turning of seasons, the blooming of flowers, the migration of birds, the rising of the moon. Every cycle is an act of remembering. It is how the planet keeps its promise to never forget the beauty it has created. And so, even though entire worlds have come and gone, not a single moment has truly vanished. The earth has kept them all, tucked away in stone and water, in tree rings and winds, in fossils and soil. Every whisper of existence still lingers, overlapping, shimmering quietly in the space around us. When you stand still, when you breathe deeply, you can feel that memory moving through you, the pulse of ancient tides in your heartbeat, the weight of old stars in your bones. You are made of the same elements that built mountains, the same dust that once floated through prehistoric air. You are not separate from the Earth's memory. You are one of its thoughts, still unfolding. So rest tonight knowing that nothing ever truly disappears. Every joy, every sorrow, every life that has touched this world is still here, cradled in the vast, gentle memory of the planet. The Earth keeps everything, not in sorrow, but in peace, because remembering is its way of loving. Now, let yourself drift deeper into rest and sleep. Tonight, as you close your eyes and let your thoughts drift away, imagine yourself lying beneath a wide, open sky. The air is cool and calm, carrying the faint scent of rain and earth. Above you, stars shimmer quietly, countless, patient, eternal. They seem close enough to touch, yet they hang beyond reach, glowing softly in their own quiet rhythm. These are the same stars that once watched over a world long gone, a world where giants walked, where forests whispered, where oceans sang. The same constellations that look down on you tonight once shone on the backs of dinosaurs as they rested beneath the same sky. The earth beneath you feels steady and kind. It hums softly, almost imperceptibly, like a heartbeat, the same pulse that has carried through every age. You are part of that rhythm now, breathing with the same air that once filled the lungs of creatures whose bones now rest beneath mountains and seas. The wind that brushes your skin has traveled far, across deserts and oceans, through centuries and civilizations, carrying with it fragments of every life that has ever been. As you breathe, the air moves through you slowly, peacefully. You begin to sense how vast and gentle time really is, how every moment is connected to the next, not by loss, but by continuation. Nothing ever truly ends. It simply changes form, softens, finds a new way to exist. The world has been many things, green and burning, frozen and reborn, but it has always dreamed of life, always found a way to keep breathing. Above you, the stars shimmer like memories. Some of their light began its journey toward Earth long, before any human walked upon it. Some began shining when the last dinosaurs were still alive, when the first flowers bloomed, when great rivers carved the young land. That light has traveled across the emptiness of space to find you tonight. When it touches your face, you are touching time itself, a connection between what was and what still is. The night stretches wide and endless. You can almost hear the faint echoes of the past drifting through it, the rustle of ancient trees, the steady beat of wings, the low song of oceans as they met the shore. Those sounds do not vanish. They become part of the silence, layered deep within it. The world holds every note, every heartbeat, every sigh. It does not forget. Imagine lying there, half awake, half dreaming, as the constellations slowly drift overhead. The Milky Way stretches like a river of light across the dark. The same stars that once reflected on the scales of sea creatures now shimmer in your eyes. The universe feels still, yet alive, moving so slowly you can hardly feel it, like the gentle turning of a vast wheel. Time is no longer something you move through. It moves through you, quietly, kindly. You begin to feel the closeness of the earth, its warmth rising softly through the ground, its weight anchoring you. Beneath you, layers of soil and stone hold the stories of every life that has ever been. Beneath that, fossils rest in perfect calm, surrounded by silence and patience. And deeper still, the planet's heart beats with a low, steady rhythm, the same one that guided the dawn of all living things. It has never stopped, not once. Above, the wind stays the leaves. The stars seem to breathe with you. The world feels vast, yet safe, ancient, yet tender. It has seen storms and stillness, birth and extinction, night and endless morning. And still, it continues, as it always has, dreaming through its own turning. The earth does not mourn the past. It carries it forward, through water, through air, through you. As your body relaxes, your thoughts slow. The edges of time begin to blur. The distance between then and now fades until there is no separation at all, only one long, continuous dream. You see the shadow of a great brachiosaurus moving across a field of ferns, its neck brushing the clouds. You see the ripples of ancient oceans beneath starlight, the wings of early birds cutting through the dawn. You see rain falling over fossil fields, the same rain that now drifts softly against your window. Everything connects. Everything continues. The stars begin to pulse faintly, like the steady rhythm of a lullaby. They are not watching from afar. They are part of you, woven into the same story. The atoms in your body once belonged to stars that burned before the Earth even formed. The calcium in your bones was forged in supernovas, the iron in your blood born from the heart of collapsed suns. You are not just resting under the stars, you are made of them. Their light flows quietly within you, glowing softly beneath your skin. The world breathes. You breathe with it. Together, you move through time, not rushing, not fading, simply existing in the endless calm of being. The earth beneath you dreams of everything it has ever known, and you are part of that dream now. You are the quiet continuation of its memory, the living echo of its oldest wish, to endure, to evolve, to rest, and to begin again. Far away, the horizon glows faintly with the promise of dawn, but for now, night still holds a world in its gentle hands. The stars shimmer, patient and kind, as if guarding your sleep. The same light that once watched over the age of dinosaurs now falls softly upon your closed eyes. You can almost feel their peace, the peace of creatures who no longer roam, yet are still remembered in every feather, every tree, every breath of wind. So lie still beneath this endless sky, knowing that you are safe within its story. The earth will keep turning. The stars will keep shining. The dream will continue, quiet, eternal, infinite. Time itself will hold you as you drift deeper and deeper through the calm that has always been here, waiting. Now, let yourself drift deeper into rest and sleep.